Imagine a love so vast, so consuming, that it doesn't simply touch the surface of your life. It floods every corner, saturating your very existence. This is the love Paul speaks of in Ephesians, a love that defies all knowledge, that stretches beyond the mind's reach, sinking deep into the core of your being. What would it feel like, not just to understand this love, but to experience it? A love that enters your heart like light, pouring into a darkened house, not stopping with you, but radiating outward, transforming everyone it touches. This is no ordinary message. It's a revelation, a glimpse into the boundless mystery of God's love, the kind of love that, once rooted in your soul, cannot be contained. It ripples outward, touching your family, your friends, and all those you encounter. Paul calls us to be rooted and grounded in this love, and the moment Christ enters the house of your heart, everything shifts. This love does not remain still. It spreads, like the branches of a great tree reaching skyward, or like a mighty river overflowing its banks, covering everything in its path. Are you ready to feel the fullness of God? To let His love seep into every crack, to fill even the shadowed corners of your heart? This is His promise. A love that surpasses all understanding. A love that reshapes not only your heart, but your household, your community, and your world. What if salvation were more than just a word, a living force moving through you, touching everyone you hold dear? This is the invitation, to let Christ take up residence within you, to be filled with the immeasurable love that defies knowledge, and to be transformed from the inside out. Are you ready? Because once you open your heart, the ripple begins, and nothing will ever be the same. That Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth and length and depth and height, and to know the love of Christ, which passeth knowledge, that ye might be filled with all the fullness of God. Paul unveils a vision of Christ, not merely as an idea, but as the living presence within the depths of our very being. The Greek word he uses for heart is cardia, not just the muscle that beats, but the center, the core, the pulse of our existence. Picture the heart as a home, a sacred space, the place where our thoughts dwell, where we are shaped by the rhythms of our daily life, and where our most vulnerable moments unfold in hidden corners. When Christ enters this house, he does not remain a distant guest. No, he fills every room, breathes life into the darkened halls, repairs the cracks in the walls, and transforms it from the inside out. This is not a fleeting visit, but a permanent residence, his presence shaping every detail, touching every part of who we are. Then Paul leads us deeper into the meaning woven into the word house itself, found again in Acts 16:31. The Greek word oikos speaks not just of the walls and roof, not merely the physical structure we call home, but of those who inhabit it, our family, our beloved, all who share in the intimate spaces of our lives. When we believe, salvation comes, not only to us, but spreads outward, like light through an open window, reaching those within our circle. The heart is the house, and through faith, the house becomes a place of eternal transformation, not only for us, but for all who dwell within its embrace. When we truly believe in Jesus, we open the doors wide to his love, inviting him into the very house of our hearts. Faith is not a passive thing. It grows like ivy climbing the walls of a home, spreading love to every room, to every corner of our lives. As we grow in this faith, that love is not confined. It seeps out like light through a window at dawn, reaching those closest to us. A heart overflowing with faith is like a house brimming with love, and anyone who steps within its walls, anyone who dwells in our hearts, will be touched by that love. When the gospel takes up residence in us, when it settles into the foundation of our being, we become rooted, grounded in love. This is where transformation begins, not in fleeting moments, but in the deep, unseen places where roots sink down and hold fast. To be rooted in the gospel of Christ means our foundation is secure, unshakable, and strong. His love, through the gospel, becomes the very soil in which our lives grow. Paul, in Ephesians 3, speaks of this love as something beyond comprehension, its breadth, its length, its depth, its height. All of it surpasses human understanding. It is a love that stretches beyond the limits of time and space, eternal and divine, unbound by our earthly minds. God's love is a gift, a treasure without measure. It reaches past the boundaries we set, extending even to the loved ones who have passed, embracing all within its eternal arms. And as we welcome this love, as we let it settle and dwell within us, it cannot help but overflow. It pours out to those around us, filling their lives as well. This is why Acts 16:31 tells us that our household is saved by our faith. It is never just about us. This love, this faith, ripples outward, like a stone dropped in still water, touching everything in its path, bringing life and salvation to all who are near. It begins with a ripple, the love of Christ moving through us, touching not just our hearts, but radiating outward to those we hold closest. His love does not stay confined within us. It spills over, transforming our relationships, our families, and even our communities. Like the gentle current of a stream, it brings peace where there was chaos, joy where there was sorrow, and salvation that reaches into the very homes we live in. Christ's love in us is not meant for our hearts alone. It reaches those who share in our lives. It reshapes the spaces we inhabit. Paul speaks of the vastness of this love, how we are called to grasp its dimensions, its height, its depth, its length, its breadth. But this is no simple intellectual task. It is not something that can be fully understood with the mind. This love goes beyond understanding. It fills us, stretches us, pours into the deepest places of our being until we are overflowing with the very fullness of God. The word Paul uses, pleroma, speaks to this completeness, this totality. It is the kind of fullness that leaves no empty spaces, no cracks untouched. When Christ's love enters our hearts, we don't just receive a portion, we are filled with the whole of God's presence. It is a completeness that cannot be measured, a blessing that knows no limits. And this fullness doesn't stop with us. It extends, like branches reaching toward the sky, to our entire family, to everyone we love. His love fills our lives and overflows, bringing with it the fullness of His blessings, embracing us and all who share in our journey. We no longer need to strive for approval, to chase after acceptance. because in Christ we are already fully embraced, fully loved, completely, without condition. This love becomes the bedrock on which we stand, shaping how we move through the world, how we engage with those closest to us. It transforms our homes, our households, and how we see the ones we love. No longer should you look at your family with sadness or worry. Instead, see them through the lens of faith, as saved, redeemed by your belief, covered by God's mercy. I hope each of you can look at your loved ones not as sinners, but as saved, held in the same grace that holds you. For Jesus did not die just for you, but for them, for all of us, for the whole world. When this truth settles deep within us, love overflows, filling the heart to the brim, bringing peace that seeps into every corner of our home. It is then, in that sacred fullness, that Jesus begins to lead, guiding all aspects of our lives. Let this love be your foundation. Let this peace fill your home, and let us trust that through His mercy, salvation stretches beyond ourselves and reaches everyone we hold dear.